Hello and welcome to Wrexham on iPlayer, and welcome to Reading as well, and welcome to the live stream of Reading versus Wrexham as a side just outside the playoffs, pushing hard despite adversity off the pitch, face Wrexham, a team who, well, can take a fantastic leap forwards today and go into the massive match on Saturday against Wycombe in second place, overtaking Wycombe, who admittedly would have a game in hand. I'm Mark Griffiths. I'm joined, of course, by Mia Roberts and Auntie Morrell. Auntie Morrell, I just called you. Auntie Morrell and
Thanks
Uncle Mia.
Yep. Yes. I've been called many things in my time, but I'm not sure I've ever been an auntie.
Fair play. Well, it's because I was distracted, because I remembered to say good evening to you both. So, good evening.
Evening.
I'm proud of myself.
Evening, Mark.
Massive game here today, and two changes for the Wrexham side. James McLean comes in for Elliot Lee and will continue in that left-sided central midfield role, and also Ryan Longman is given a break on the bench, and Ryan Barnett will come in to replace him. So that Wrexham side, Arthur Okonkwo's in goal, the back three unchanged: Tom O'Connor, Owen O'Connell and Max Cleworth, who I thought were excellent on Saturday. Barnett will be on the right, with Seb Revan continuing on the left. McLean, Ollie Rathbone and Matty James in the middle. Great news that Rathbone, despite pulling up on Saturday, is okay to start the match. And then up front, of course, Sam Smith, back where he was so good this season, and Jay Rodriguez. The bench is interesting because there's no Jack Marriott. Instead, Mo Farl comes in. So that bench, you've got Mark Howard, George Evans, Farl, Dan Scarr, Stephen Fletcher, Elliot Lee and Ryan Longman. No, not huge surprises, I don't think, once we knew that Rathbone was fit, that we've gone with that sort of team. I think it was always likely that Longman and Barnett would share duties as the season went on.
Yes, I agree. I think he's just freshened it up in a couple of positions. Elliot Lee probably not quite back ready for maybe 2 games in 3 days. So they've gone for McLean in there, who will give us legs away from home, give us energy, and will lead the team, obviously, as our captain. So not surprised at the changes. I'm surprised that Marriott's not on the bench. I don't know the reason behind that, because he was here doing his running beforehand. Farl comes on instead of him. So I didn't think he was that bad for the 4 minutes he came on for in the other game. But, yeah, apart from that, yeah, the same back three, not surprised. Same front two, no surprise. Just freshen it up wide in Ryan Barnett, who, like we've said time and time again, that they will flick-flack between themselves, I think, for the rest of the season. So let's go and take a real big step to taking maybe a little bit of pressure off the game on Saturday, because if we can get 3 points today, then we can go and have a free hit at Wycombe, really.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, isn't it? I think, especially building off that win off the weekend as well, with the chance to go second tonight, with obviously Wycombe not playing, to then be able to go second and then go to Wycombe with those points in the bag already. I totally agree, Andy. I think it does turn into that sort of free hit where you can just go with that little bit of extra freedom, little bit less pressure on their shoulders. So another big opportunity tonight to carry on this momentous away form that we seem to have found ourselves in over the past few weeks. Could make it 5 on the bounce, I think, tonight. And yeah, no real surprises for me again in that starting lineup. I think that back three have just been superb, in the last few games from a defensive point of view. I think that's 3 successive clean sheets in a row in the league. So there's no switching for them 3 for me right now. They've been real top class. And then Smith and Rodriguez continuing to grow in that partnership, obviously connecting on Saturday. Smith getting the goal, Rodriguez with the assist. Hopefully that's the start of many more to come.
Absolutely so. It's promising to see pieces fitting into place, and as you said, that defence has really looked so good. 3 clean sheets in a row now. And also, isn't football wonderful? Oh, we were so panicky about our away form, and now all of a sudden, yeah, we're on a lovely run. But this will be a genuine test. Reading, I mean, I've got to say, fair play to them. They have major issues off the pitch, and yet on the pitch they have continued to be competitive. They've got a transfer ban. They lose Sam Smith, their star striker, but they are still going. They lose their manager, Ruben Selles, who, I mean, I've got to be honest, everything I saw that him do, you just thought this guy is ripe to be cherry-picked by a higher division team. And so he was. And yet they have continued to do well. They're just off the playoffs. And yeah, they're keeping going. They're unbeaten on 8 games, longest unbeaten run in the division. Admittedly, they've probably drawn a few more than they would have liked. But having said that, that's a solid foundation for them to build from. They make a couple of changes from the side that drew at Crawley on Saturday. They were attacking changes out wide. So in goal is a Portuguese keeper, Joel Pereira. Then across the back, right back, Kelvin Abrefa, known as fresh air in the changing room. Thank you very much, I'm here all week. Andre Garcia is at left back. Centre backs Tyler Binden on loan from Nottingham Forest and Michael Strickland. In midfield, Lewis Wing is a very, very good player, anchoring 2 interesting players, Harvey Nibbs, and on the other side of him, Charlie Savage, of course, son of Robbie, who was just up here hobnobbing with my co-commentators a moment ago. And then up front, the 2 changes, Kem Campbell is going to play out wide, as is Jaden Wareham, 2 youngsters with connections to Wales. And then up front is Kelvin Ehibachinan, as the teams are now out. Yeah, I just feel that the spirit and adversity that they're showing is impressive. They're hoping that there may be a takeover in the offing soon. There was a joint protest between the 2 fans against the Reading ownership before the match. Wrexham, of course, have benefited from the support of fans from other clubs in the past and were happy to join in. But yeah, I really admire Reading for keeping it on track like they have done.
Well, they're so young as a group. There's not many senior, well, there's no senior pros in the group. They're all pretty much 25 and below. For me, it's the naivety of that and not knowing what is out there and what problem. They can just crack on and just get on with it. And they've certainly done that. They play free, they go, they're really all trying to, they all know that they've got a brilliant opportunity to play games, because at that age, you don't often get a chance to go into a team and play. And they're getting that opportunity. And I think Savage, he's over 100 games now for these. And it's like, that's incredible. He's only 22, 21. So they can go and enjoy their football and go and play. There's very little pressure on them because they know that they're under this embargo. They're not expected to do anything. But they are ripping up trees. And I still think they've got a good chance of getting in the playoffs if they can get a little run, maybe get one of their strikers scoring goals. You know, we know Nibbs has got 11 already this season. Can he chip in with a few more? They've just drawn a lot of games, haven't they, recently? And that's fine, but those wins will just help them creep up and get into those playoff places.
Yeah, I think we spoke a lot about obviously youth when talking about Peterborough a few weeks ago, but Reading are a side that just looked quite exciting at times, and like Andy says, just got so much talent in that team that I've been given this opportunity to go out there and play frequently as well. You know, I look at someone like Stickland at the back today, who I think made his full debut on the weekend, and he's actually the oldest out of that whole back line, which, you know, speaks volumes. But I think today for Wrexham, you've got to use our experience. We were one of the older sides in this league. Can we go out there, you know, just sort of try and bully them a little bit maybe? I don't know, you know, that might sound a bit harsh, but that's what you've got to do against these young teams, really take advantage of their inexperience and use ours to our benefit.
Yeah, another one that strikes me as well, Andre Garcia, the left back, has been regular all season. This is his first season in senior football. He's still 17. I mean, hell's bells.
He's played 30 games.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Absolutely ace.
And so there's a lot to admire. And I like your point, Mia, about Peterborough. To me, Reading feel like Peterborough last season, where those players are coming through, maybe in the right places. But they have no right to be up there, I feel. The circumstances really are against them, and yet here they are with a chance of going up.
Yeah, but then the issue is keeping hold of the players, because they do so well in a group, and they're all young, they're all worth something. You know, Smith, they sell Smith, who's 25, he can go and play. They sell him for $2 million. That's going to only keep the club running for potentially a couple of months now. Do you know what I mean? And then they've got to find it again. So just be really interesting to see how they finish this season.
That's McLean. Immediately, well, he gets the decision. I thought he'd caught his man, but instead of a foul, the throw-in goes Wrexham's way in the halfway line. So just kicked off now, throw taken, and Rodriguez nods it down. McLean is in midfield to try and battle, can't keep the ball, but Rathbone, his first intervention, winning it back. Long ball forwards by O'Connell, is not won by Smith. Interesting to see what reception he'll get from the Reading fans. And I think Reading will probably understand the fact that it was a move he couldn't really turn down.
Can we just say that we are really far away from the pitch as well? By the way, we are on the last tier of the seats, right at the back. I think there's a few in the US that might be a bit closer than we are. So enjoy the game. If we don't pick out the players particularly great, it's because they're a mile away.
Well, you know, you mates of Robbie Savage. Hang on a second. Oh no, Connell tried to play a switch. Nice idea, didn't come off. You mates of Robbie Savage might be used to the finer things in life, but I can assure you, last Sunday at the Cardiff International Athletic Stadium, commentating on the women's game, something which I can't help thinking I'll mention a hell of a lot during this commentary because it was flaming epic. I've never ever had a commentary point, or I'd indeed been in a football ground so far from the pitch, because there's a running track. Okay, that's not unique, but for some reason they've also put the triple jump and long jump pits on the side that the main stand is on. So you're a mile away from the pitch. It was absolutely astonishing. John, our cameraman, was saying that he may have to adjust for haze, like when you're shooting across a valley in the Alps. He wasn't wrong. As Reading are looking to move the ball around at the back and just probe, looking for gaps. Wrexham holding our shape. It's a lovely stadium, this. As Andy said, it's a big one. And it's filled up a bit in the sort of 10 minutes, 5 minutes before kick-off, because it was looking a little bit empty. As Reading, again, is still patiently moving it about. The ball helped over to the right-hand side, and in the end, it's well won back. O'Connor and Revan combining now, and here's Smith quickly out to Rodriguez on the left-hand side. Feeds it back again to Revan. His pass down the line is intercepted. It was a good run by Smith, and it's good work then to get away from Revan by Campbell, and it's held up in midfield under pressure from McLean by Wareham, and now Reading have maybe got a chance as they cross the halfway line to attack on the left. Wrexham get their shape back quickly, and it's an opportunity for Wrexham. Like I said, they've got their shape back, and it's tricky for Reading until Cleworth is penalised for a challenge. He argues it's shoulder to shoulder, but it's a free kick in a nice position on the left for Reading to put something in the box.
Yeah, I think it was Garcia who just gets in front of him, but they're going to play a real key battle today, because Garcia and his other fullback Abrifa really like to tuck in, and that means Harvey Nibbs and Charlie Savage will sort of go into that fullback role at times, where they can be so technically smart on the ball as Charlie Savage steps up for this free kick.
Wrexham hold the line on the penalty spot. Positive start by Reading, this. As there's movement round the back, the ball is swept into a dangerous area, flicked partly away, and McLean, no messing, hooks it straight out of play. Throw level the edge of the area. McLean had to do that because we had a problem there once we didn't make first contact.
Yeah, he's very good on those dead ball situations. Charlie Savage, obviously of the Man United Academy. You're not there if you're not good enough, I'll tell you that for free. So a throw-in on the right-hand side, and Wrexham again back defending. Ball into the near post. It's a decent length on it. Half cleared by Revan. McLean can't win it back, and a shot comes in from the edge of the area, which is blocked. It goes out wide again. It was delivered in towards the penalty spot. Half-headed clear twice by O'Connell. Barnett helps it on. Smith does well to get there, but he can't keep it, and Wrexham will be relieved, I think, as Reading knock it over the top. It wasn't pretty, it was very scrappy, but nonetheless, we took a number of attempts before we got that clear. Yeah, I think O'Connell had a shout for maybe a high boot there. He put his head in, and there was a boot high up. I think it did catch him maybe, but ref didn't see it that way. So
Conquo with the goal kick. Remember, you can get in touch with us using the hashtag AskWrexham. That's ASKWXM on Twitter or Blue Sky, as Rodriguez is unlucky. He wins it, but trying to squeeze it square, can't find a teammate, and now here come Reading looking to burst forward again. Garcia's held up though. Diligent work by McLean. Reading, though, still have it and lift it up to the edge of the area. Nice little pocket of space that they've managed to pick out as the ball is worked backwards, and the cross comes in early to the far post, and it's flicked on by somebody for the throw. Yeah, I thought so. It's a Reading head that made contact. We are having to defend our box and earn the right to get into this game, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a great forward run by Nibs in that first place, and then a good cross to the back post. Wareham gets up early, he gets the run, but then he just can't redirect that cross, and it goes out for a throw-in. But yep, Wrexham on the defensive, got to fall on some second balls.
That's good work by Rathbone after McLean flicked it on his own. He's managed to find Smith very isolated, and his outnumbered wing gets a good foot in. But it was good persistence that by Rathbone. Ball now driven in to test Wrexham's defence. O'Connell again is there with a good header, just about beating Wareham to it. But you can see that youthful verve that Andy was talking about. They are coming at us as a briefer works it backwards. I know it probably is a briefer, but like I said, a breath of fresh air. It's just stuck in my head now, and I think I'm stuck to it. As they continue to move on, Bindon on loan from Forest works it on. Forest carries to the halfway line. Nice little dummy, allows the ball to come back to a brief end. He carries it to within 30 yards of goal, feeds it out wide. Campbell cutting in. And now again, nice little triangles on the right as Reading try to make progress. Revan does well though, and he draws a foul as well. Oh no, throw in given to Reading. They quickly put it back to the halfway line where Strickland is helping it across. On the left hand side, Garcia again just drives forwards, coming inside from his left back position before feeding the ball inaccurately out wide. No chance for Ahea Basherman to keep that in. 8th minute, Wrexham having to work hard here without the ball.
Yeah, an opportunity though from the throw in. Can we just get on the ball and keep possession?
Throw down the lines, headed clear, and ricochets into the Wrexham half. Cleworth can only half clear it. Ahea Basherman's dispossessed well, and O'Connell does well to bring it clear, but off balance, and he felt being fouled. He gives the ball away, and Nibs picks her up in the middle of the pitch. Reading again working it back deep into their own half. Strickland. Wrexham holding that familiar mid-block as Pereira comes out of his penalty area to have a look around. On the bench, of course, for Wrexham, an absolute Reading legend in Phil Parkinson. He's a legend at a few clubs, to be fair, isn't he? There is a permanent banner up for him on our side of the pitch. I'll mention in a second. You know, when they sing, you know, we all dream of a team of Carragers, or they sing that about Parkinson, or used to. And there's one somewhere down on our side saying 5 Parkinson. Oh, beg your pardon. It's on the opposite side, is it? Yeah, by the scoreboard. 5 Parkinsons.
Yeah, he's got a few clubs, isn't he, in this league that he's done relatively well at. Bolton being one.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a storied career, to be fair, as the ball's worked out to the right-hand side. Again, it's Campbell being put under pressure by Revan and by Matty James. He does well to switch, and Garcia just loves making these little inverted drives forward from left back. He's brought it into the middle of the pitch, and he helps her out. Campbell working it wide. Abrife feeding it into midfield. That's a lovely, cute idea by Wing, but Wrexham break it up. Rathbone now is on the run, and Smith sees him and overhits the bars, does he? Well, Barnett might get there. Barnett does get there. Smith wants an early delivery. He's got a bit of space at the far post. Barnett, though, beats his man, gets in the box, and is he fouled? Ref says no. It was very clumsy indeed by Ahea Basherman. And I don't know, I'm a cynic sometimes. I feel like if that hadn't possibly been in the box, the ref might have considered it. But he gives that one to Ahea Basherman on the halfway line. Discuss.
Yeah, but that's what we want to see from Ryan Barnett, isn't it? I just thought for a second, I think you mentioned it, Mark, if he got his head up, Smith was in acres of space heading towards that back post. If he could have just whipped it in early. But he continues to drive and yet to see it back. I'm not sure if it was. It looked, like you say, a little bit clumsy.
Long ball for...
Sorry.
Ooh, is Reading try a snapshot, is it? Wing, was it stepping, or Savage drills him 25 yards. Don't think that Concord got across to cover it, but having said that, it was off target.
Yeah, straight into the chest of the striker, just drops it down. I think it's Wareham, isn't it? It's worth an effort. Not far away, is he?
It was decent hit, wasn't it? As again, Reading controlling possession really well. Wrexham having to really work and keep their shape and just be patient here. It was a hell of a good snapshot. He couldn't really get on top of it, but it was a really nice hit after the ball was chested down by Campbell, and Wareham just couldn't quite get on top of it. Revan takes a knock as he challenges for a ball in the air and stays down. And hopefully he's all right, but Wrexham may be grateful for a little bit of a breather here. He does get up without treatment, limping, but he's up.
Yeah, Reading haven't had any real clear-cut opportunities, have they? But they've looked really tidy on the ball. Look like they want to play, which has sometimes been Wrexham's downfall against teams who do that this season.
They just move it so quick. You know, they're really quick, vibrant, bit of pace about them on all sides, happy to step into different positions.
Yeah, they're pleasing on the eye, and they're fast, aren't they? As again, Garcia is making the extra man in the middle of the pitch once he receives the ball and brings it inside. They switch over to the right, and a cute idea by Campbell, doesn't quite execute as he tries to dummy it. Wrexham clear, not far though. Campbell nods it down, and James can't bring it down in midfield. Campbell works it out wide. Early cross is overhit still, and as a result now maybe Barnes can use his pace, although to be fair, Savage is quickly across to close him down. Rathbone does brilliantly, knocks it past his man, and he's accelerating forwards. It's an excellent challenge back to deny him, but promise there again down the right hand side for Wrexham in a game where we're not getting many opportunities to control the ball, but on the break, maybe we're not looking too bad. Maybe a little bit open in their shape as they press forwards.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the way the game might pan out, is on those transitions. Can we make sure that when we do get it back, that we make that pass, and then can we break into the gaps that they've left, because they're really pushing people forward. Savage right up alongside Wareham. Can we make those pockets of space really count?
And I just wonder, Andre Garcia, like I said, is really playing as an inverted fullback. The moment he gets the ball, or Reading get the ball, he's tending to come inside. And are Wrexham looking to exploit that? Barnes had a clear run down the flank. Rathbone just did as well then. Is that something Wrexham can exploit, as Abrefo, who's much more unorthodox right back, feeds it inside? And again, Reading are moving around nicely. Well read by Matty James. Does well to control it as well. But Smith just asks for it over the top as James goes to feet. And as a result, Bindon, to appreciative applause, takes the ball from his ex-teammate.
That's the pass that I've just spoken about, that when we do get it back, can we make sure that first pass goes to one of the red shirts, and that will enable us then to set and get out.
As O'Connell intercepts and is pulled back by Wareham. He's complaining to the referee. He feels he's been pulled back a few times already, O'Connell. And he also, I think, has a point insofar as, he is important, isn't he, in starting the transition. He's so often the player who can take the ball, drive forwards, or play an early pass forwards and open matters up. He takes the short free kick, Rathbone helping it on. And Reading step up and start to put pressure on the ball. Matty James is a pretty press-resistant player, and he's done well to carry the ball from a central position down the left. Revan receives. James wants it back. Revan's pass is not good enough. Plays it in behind him. And now Reading again have possession, and Wrexham will have to drop off, keep their shape and keep their patience. Hard work this for Wrexham. But
yeah,
then
I think just on that move there, sorry Mark, just too many touches on the ball. Can we just release it that little bit quicker? Similar to how Reading are sort of moving that ball.
Great burst by Brefa, beat McLean. His pass wasn't right though. Wareham made a run down the channel. He fed it through the middle. No real chance of Ahir Basherman to getting across and making that. And over the top, that's a good idea by Rathbone, but he's not quite got it right. Bindon intercepts easily. And now here is Savage. Inaccurate pass, though. Matty James receives Cleworth's interception. Oh, and it's given away by Rathbone. Reading trying to break. There's a chip over the top. Too much on that for Ehi Bashiman to get to throw to Wrexham.
Yeah, just looking at how Wrexham are setting up against the Reading team, they've sort of pushed Barnett on to Garcia to try and stop that ball going out to him, and that means that Cleworth's got to go and sort of play right back-ish, just a slight in at right back, and then Seb Revan plays sort of left back, they've probably just done it for 5 minutes to try and just stem the flow down that left-hand side.
Yeah, they are getting that overload going with Garcia stepping in. That's a good foot in by Smith, throwing to Reading just in their own half. But they're posing interesting questions for Wrexham, but we have, to be fair, consistently in recent weeks been able to dig in and earn the right to get a result. We're having to work hard here. It's Abrefa working it back into his own goal, his own half. 17th minute, 0-0. Now a chance for Bindon to come forwards, rolls it in to the feet of Ehi Bashiman. They're nice and patient, and then they'll press the accelerator and speed up their passing. As Campbell made an interesting run inside Revan there, Wing hits it in, too strong, easy for Okonkwo. The chance maybe to deliver quickly to Barnett, doesn't take it. I can see the logic in hanging on to the ball for a little bit, because Wrexham are under a fair amount of pressure. He's taking a liberty with how long he's holding on to it, mind, to be fair. Because there's a striker on him, ultimately he does decide he has to loft it over Wareham. It drops in the Reading half and brought down neatly by Rodriguez and flicked out to Revan, who turns nicely. But his pass again is disappointing. It was a nice little run by Rodriguez ahead of him. Revan didn't pick him out. He's made a good challenge there. Reading get out of trouble. That's a lovely little 1-2 and the ball's fed forwards. Good feet by Wareham, who pops the ball backwards. Wrexham put good pressure on. Forced Reading to go back in the end to the keeper. Enjoyable football from either side there, as Reading got the way out of trouble, but Wrexham managed to put the pressure back onto them. Just got the Barnett challenge back out. Just outside the box and very clumsy. I think that's a foul myself, just looking at it. That's the one in the 10th minute when Barnett's trying to cut into the box. Ehi Bashiman really isn't convincing. He just makes contact with Barnett. Doesn't seem to even look to play for the ball. O'Connor knocking it long. Headed away by Wing. Savage as well to turn away from Rathbone. Works it out wide. Ehi Bashiman tries to turn out and holds off two men, but that makes him just overhit it, and O'Connell judges his intervention well. Gets a foot in. McLean now to Barnett on the right. Wrexham will go back to the edge of the box. I wouldn't mind a little spell of possession here just to calm things down. Matty James back into his own half. Reading fans making good noise. Revan turns into trouble and concedes a throw-in. You could have, like I said about keeping the ball, he could have worked it back to the back three, and instead he decides to turn. You assume he hasn't got his head up and realised that he's turned into a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, Campbell's doing a really good job on Revan at the moment, just not giving him a second to get his head up really and sort his feet out. So he's just had to rush it at times, and he's not got him right.
As this is the 20th minute protest now by the Reading fans against the owner, Da Yong, and they asked Wrexham to join in, and the Wrexham fans are all standing and clapping the Reading supporters. We've been through our terrible dark days, of course, and you've just got to understand how it feels and look to support clubs when they fight for their future. As Reading give the ball away, Nibs trying to turn it around the corner, puts it out of play, throw to Wrexham. So O'Connor throws back to O'Connell. Somebody on the pitch over there. I think something was thrown on the pitch by the Reading fans, nowhere near anybody. Someone's just sprinted on and grabbed it. Barnett wins a throw in the Wrexham half. 20 minutes gone. Still 0-0. Wrexham having to work hard here.
Yeah, we're just a little bit slow in possession, I think. You know, the ball speed isn't quite at its highest, where it takes out the players. We're giving the chance for them, the receiving player, to be closed down, and then straight away you've got to make a quick decision, and then the next one's a quick decision, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. You've just got to punch that pass into your mate, trust his touch.
Well, that was a bit more like it from McLean in that he tried to quickly hook the ball on first time to Revan, but the pass just made Revan stop in his tracks a touch. Ball's lifted over the top. Smith will chase after that. Beaten to us in the air, but it's a loose ball, and Wing is the first to react and brings the ball down neatly. Does a little lollipop and knocks her off Revan for the goal kick. Tidy play. I just saw a stat coming up on the screen. Reading have 78% possession, and that sounds about right, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I agree. I'd expect more, I think.
Yeah. But possession isn't everything.
No, correct. And we're very good without it. Our shape is good. So here's something different from Wrexham, though. They're certainly starting with a press off a goal kick, something that they've obviously looked at in the week.
It's played short and the keeper goes long. So Reading decide not to take that press on. They lose the ball because they go long, though. Matty James as well, although actually his pass is not as accurate as I thought. He's given it away a breath and knocks it forwards. Good ball. Campbell in to out, makes himself available, and Wrexham this time putting pressure on the ball in the Reading half, forcing the ball back to the edge of the area, but Reading are all comfortable on the ball, and they're able to move the ball around neatly, and have now found a little bit of space in their own half, and Wrexham, apart from the two strikers, retreat and get back into a defensive shape.
Well, Pereira just missed our press out, went straight into Wareham up front. Owen O'Connell just on his heels a little bit, expecting the one in behind him. He's got to go in and win that first ball for me.
Pereira again, working it to the feet of Strickland. Again, Reading just inviting the challenge in. McLean looking to pressurise Abrafa. Can't get close enough to him. Reading again moving it back to their own half. The Wrexham fans making good noise. But the action's all at their end of the pitch at the moment. The end of Okonkwo's defending. Long ball forwards. Ehia Basherman brings it down nicely, but he's sloppy in his pass. And Barnett under pressure holds on to it. James under a lot of pressure does brilliantly. Turns away from three players. Finds Barnett. Good ball to the feet of Smith now. Rodriguez has gone beyond him. Smith uses the space behind Rodriguez. Finds McLean. There's a ball out wide if he wants to use it. O'Connor plays it. Revan, as O'Connor makes a good run beyond him. Revan cuts inside, beats Campbell. O'Connor, good awareness, pings it to McLean. Chance to cross now, hits the goal line. Stands at the far post. Smith backpedaling. He's beaten to it in the air, but Wrexham have got Reading penned in for the first time. Cleworth driving forwards. Ball played out wide nicely by James. Barnett delivers the cross. Ooh, Rodriguez' shirt being tugged there, nothing given. O'Connor wins it back though. And Revan just can't receive that snappy pass into his face. It's hacked clear, but good to see some constructive pressure from Wrexham there.
Well, we made a couple of passes, which means O'Connor can get up the pitch, Cleworth can get up the pitch, and that means the two front two either side of Wareham, they've got to drop with them, they've got to go with them, or they're free and they've got overloads, and that means they're pushed back. So when they clear it, they're just clearing it to us.
Good ball over the top by O'Connell. Smith on the right-hand side now has got options and has got players attacking the box. He rolls it in short. Rathbone helps it on. McLean now has got Revan available in the corner of the box. Feeds him. Revan pulls it back. And it's squared on by Rathbone. Ball ricochets into the box and it's only half cleared. And a driven shot by Smith is blocked. There's a second attempt and the keeper stumbled but managed to get up. He made an easy save look difficult. But nonetheless, Wrexham suddenly finding our threat.
Yeah, I think if Smith catches that second one, how he caught that first one, might have caused Pereira a few more problems. But just again, Wrexham turns him into really little scrappy bit of defending. But it just falls quite nicely for Smith and he just can't get over that ball.
Yeah, the first one, like I say, was a really clean hit by him, wasn't it? After a poor header by Bindon. And then the second one, he mishit into the ground. I mean, I really don't think Pereira was liable to let it go past him. In fact, looking at it from a different angle, I think it was going wide as well. But he stumbled and looked really off balance as he went across to deal with it. Now, here's Ehio Bashanan, and it's good defending that. The ball knocked off him. for the throw-in to Wrexham by Barnett.
Yeah, I thought he might just have tried to ease him under the ball there, Barnett, stand his ground, let it go over his head, but didn't quite know the flight of it or get the flight of it, and really good piece of skill, but Barnett did great to get it ball off him and out for a throw-in for us.
Throw-in, which Cleworth takes. Reading thanks Feely stealing yards, and then the attempt to flick it on comes off Rodriguez's head for a throw to Reading anyway in the halfway line. Breffer puts it back. Barnett's good pace just to put pressure on the ball, but it's pinged beautifully across to the right-hand side. Now Breffer's able to feed it forwards. Wareham does well to make himself available. Ball doesn't quite stick, and James is quick to intercept. O'Connor, good vision on the edge of the area, picks out Rathbone. Cleworth now deep in his own half. Savage putting him under pressure. Barnett wants to go forwards. Smith hadn't made the run quickly enough, and Cleworth's clearance isn't good. Ball fed into the edge of the box. Wareham holding it up onto his left foot. Wrexham crowding him. That's really good defending. Rathbone and James comes out with the ball. His pass square to McLean rather slows him down though, and McLean has to go backwards. O'Connor, edge of the box, feeding it into the centre of the pitch. Wrexham moving it around confidently in their own half. Reading have committed 5 players into the Wrexham half to put pressure on, as O'Connell with a purposeful touch dinks it forwards. Rodriguez did really well to get there ahead of his man wing. Reading half clear. Rodriguez against Smith, once they're over the top. Rodriguez plays it in there, and as we put out a play by Strickland for a throw-in. Wrexham's starting to look a bit better going forwards now.
Yeah, just in the middle of the park, like you said, it was really good pressure by Rathbone, Matty James, just to get round the Reading man and win that ball back in a dangerous area.
28 minutes, still 0-0. Wrexham fans making more noise, but more encouraged as I say that. O'Connor stumbles and stubs the ball straight to a Reading player. Having said that, the strikers put pressure on well and forced the ball back to the keeper. And the ball is worked over to Bindon on the left-hand side. Wing splits the centre-backs. And receives it on the edge of the area. Once more, Wrexham holding their shape. McLean just steps out to try and put some pressure on Breffer. And he'll pursue him and force him to play it backwards to the edge of his box. Yeah, the Wrexham fans making very good noise. It's a good number in the corner and behind Okonkwo's goal. As the ball is swept across the pitch to a Breffer. Stats is saying that Wrexham have had 5 touches in the opposing box to Reading's 2. This is an interesting reflection on maybe us looking a little more threatening than Reading are, despite the fact they've played some very nice football. Oh, it's a big interception by James. Poor ball by Breffer. Wrexham have players up the pitch here. Smith beats his man, driving on, helps it to Rodriguez, back to Smith, who'll hit this. Good block. And the ricochet doesn't quite fall for him. Smith was aware, I think, of Barnett's on the right, but didn't play him in. He is in a lot of space. Oh, and that was, again, a really promising position for Wrexham. With James, again, the player who's making the interceptions. Rathbone out wide. Early ball by Barnett gives Smith no chance. But that was a promising moment. Did Smith make the right decision? I guess when you score goals like he does, he's entitled to shoot from by there, isn't he?
Yeah. Good defending, though. He just stood up, stayed strong. Didn't try and just got himself in the way of it and was able to block the shot. But a nice little 1-2 with Rodriguez. Opens up the space for him on his left foot. I thought he might just show and then just drag it onto his right. He goes for the shot, but like I said, good block.
Wrexham starting to ease themselves into this game rather well. When we're getting the ball on a transition, we're looking dangerous.
Yeah, but the shape that Wrexham have got, there's got to be so much communication going on between the 3 midfielders, the centre-backs, because people are dropping their movements really good, Reading. And so you've got to tell people they're just staying in an area and blocking up passing lanes. And so they've got to know where the players are behind them. So talking from the back 3 into the midfield 3 is so important.
Breffer, again, who lost the ball to James to allow that last break. This time he's a bit more careful with the ball. Strickland drilling it long. O'Connor backpedaling does really well. He was aware of where O'Connell was, backheads it to him, and he was fouled as well by Wareham. O'Connell short to Matty James. Cleworth working around to the right. Barnett in his own half. Smith made a run over the top. Barnett decides not to play that. Again, this front three of Reading working really hard, putting pressure on the ball, but Wrexham staying calm. Cleworth clips it down the line. It's inaccurate. Garcia feeds it forwards and gets it cushioned back to him by Savage. Now Savage on the halfway line. Again, Wrexham looking compact. Ball is switched across by Bindon, looking for a Brefa, who carries it down the right. McLean's been working hard to make sure Brefa can't get too far down the flank. It's a nice idea around the corner by Nibs, and Campbell's done well to beat Revan to it. Revan goes shoulder to shoulder, and the ball drops loose on the edge of the area. Good hold to play again by Wareham. And now it's Garcia feeding it in. Good touch to Wareham, who helps it out wide. Hepashin is beaten to it by Barnett. I wondered if he might have been offside, but flag stayed down. Barnett has to concede the corner.
Yeah, he had to get something on it, didn't he there, Ryan Barnett? It's a really nice little move from Reading. Kem Campbell does really well initially, and then it's just some really nice little slick passes. Good movement. Charlie Savage again dropping in that hole, in that space that Wrexham just can't pick up. And then, yeah, like I say, good challenge from Ryan Barnett.
Yeah, definitely not offside. I was wrong to say that. In swinger into the 6-yard box. It's headed clear, but it'll come back in again. Savage with the immediate cross at the far post. Too much on it. Rathbone takes it on the chest, feet facing his own goal, launches it up in the air, and then heads it straight to a Reading player. Wrexham fighting hard. Throw-in conceded. That was really aggressive defending by Smith, was it, on the corner of the box to win it back. Reading went to the foul. Well, at least the crowd did. So Reading with a throw level the edge of the area, left-hand side. Garcia gets it back from Savage. Here is Savage again. His cross is blocked, and another chance to break. Rodriguez. Ball didn't quite sit up for him, and his pass lacks weight, but he's chasing hard to try and claim it back. The referee gives a free kick to Reading. I thought he could have carried on there. He looked like he was going to carry on, and now he's further penalised Reading by saying they took the free kick a couple of yards further forwards than they should have done.
Yeah, they just haven't quite linked up so far in this game, Smith and Rodriguez, like they did on Saturday. Just the gap sometimes a bit too close together, a bit too far apart. The service into them hasn't been great. They've been feeding off scraps so far today, but can we just try and get a few more little links between them two?
As Nibs lays it wide, goes back in, an overhead shot comes in from Campbell. There's no danger as a shot, but it did drop in the goal mouth. The Okonkwo was very quick to get across and handle that.
I think Revan struggled a little bit in this first half with the ball. He's not looked as sharp as he has done the past couple of games. And then off the back of that, defensively wise, just a little bit unsure when and where to go.
Campbell's asking questions of him, isn't he? And his passing hasn't quite been as crisp as he might have liked. A few passes plus pleading behind McLean. Okonkwo from the back pass knocks it with a distance. Smith will back into his man and creates a loose ball. Well, ref penalises him. Might have given that partly on the crowd's appeal, I think, because the crowd were complaining for a while before he decides to blow his whistle. So Reading with a free kick. Eric Lowback says he'd like to see Longman coming in out wide at some point.
I'm sure he'll get the chance.
Yeah.
It may even be down this side.
That's a decent ball in for Campbell on the right, but he's offside. And Wrexham, like I say, with 35th minute, at the very least, have dug in and have got through that passage of play where Reading were pinning us back in our half. It's improved, but we're not there yet. Free kick then that Okonkwo will take. Berkey Shark is back in the States, having had a great time in Wrexham, and is saying town at work, don't like it. Wishing I was there to cheer on the team in person. Oh, I know. As Revan takes the throw back to the halfway line. O'Connell sets himself, thinks about going straight, then switches neatly to Rathbone under pressure on the halfway line. Looked like he'd been clipped by Savage, nothing given, and Wrexham have to go backwards. Okonkwo being put under pressure, he's calm, feeds it across to O'Connor, down the line, just putting a bit of pressure on Revan there, who loses out, and nibs us brilliantly to feed it to the edge of the chance to shoot, and it's blocked by Cleworth, offside flag against Ehir Basherman anyway. Not sure he was interfering particularly, but flag goes up and the danger ends.
No, but again, it comes from this left-hand side for Wrexham. Seb Revan, Tom O'Connor doesn't do him too many favours by giving him the ball in that situation, but he just doesn't look too confident today so far. Just looks like Kem Campbell's sort of got his number.
I just think he doesn't know whether to stay with Campbell or to go on one. And he's just getting caught a little bit in between. But when the ball's coming to him, he's giving it away a couple of times. He just needs to make sure the next pass, can I just get it to a red shirt? And then after that, we'll worry about it.
Ehir Basherman with a dangerous break. The bounce didn't help him, but Cleworth had an excellent interception as McLean feeds the ball out wide, but it's not accurate enough. Garthia will get there ahead of Barnett and launch a long pass. Cleworth challenging for it. Who did it come off last? Referees decided it's a Wrexham throw. Dave Cull says, watching the game from Port El Kantawi. Where are the Wrexham fans in the stadium? I can't see them. Yeah, they're in the corner to your right, behind Arthur Okonkwo's goal. And because they're in the corner, the camera, I don't think, is able to pick them out. There's a good number of Wrexham fans, and they've been loud as well. As Reading now, beg your pardon, looks to feed it forwards. Campbell comes inside. Little unnecessary step over by a Breffer. But a miscontrol by O'Connor is dangerous. Great tracking back that by Matty James again. Filling in after O'Connor had lost it and been caught up the pitch. Smith isolated up front. Battles away. And again, maybe a little unlucky as he makes a block tackle on a Breffer that ref sees it as a foul. But it's taken quickly. Garthia again. There's Ehir Basherman outside him as he's allowed Rathbone to get a bit close and hassle him, and he'll have to go backwards. Just over 7 minutes and a half left. 0-0 still. Hard fought, not many chances. Breffer standing in front of Phil Parkinson, who looks like a coiled spring on the side of the... He hasn't moved for ages. Oh, he has now, thank goodness for that. McLean battling away, literally. Free kick to Reading on the halfway line. Out on the right flank, and the ball's pulled back into the Reading half. Wing, he's a good player in the centre of midfield. Was it 11 goals and 11 assists last season? And he's anchoring now, playing a little deeper than he was last year and doing well. That's good work by Cleworth again. He wins the ball from Ehir Basherman, who goes down and stays down for a moment. Wrexham were put under pressure well and have kept it well. That's a nice little pass by O'Connell. James, a little space, pings a beauty out to Revan. Takes it on the chest and he knocks him off his feet. McLean takes over. Works it inside, and Matty James as well to get there, take it in his stride, feed it back. McLean, chance to take on a Breffer, hits the goal line, delivers to the far post, great ball, Barnett drives it, oh, and it's over the bar, corner. Smith thought he was going to sweep and drive it in from 6 yards out. Defender got the final touch though.
Well, I think Barnett's just trying to put it back towards goal, maybe not a shot or a cross, but better play. James stepping in, 1v1 with McLean, gets it out of his feet, puts it back stick. Barnett comes in, hits it well enough, but it goes straight towards the defender and he manages to scoop it up over the crossbar.
Yeah, he's defended, he's rewarded rather for his good position, wasn't he?
Well, it could have gone anywhere. But thankfully for him, it's gone up over the bar.
He's got goal side of his man, and that just allows him to make that first contact. But Wrexham again, the side that look more dangerous. Strickland it was who got the foot in. Here's the corner then, left-hand side. Rathbone whips it in under the bar, nicely half cleared. And Cleworth retreating, can't quite get there. Referee gives a foul as Matty James tries to make a challenge and catches his man on the edge of the box. But yeah, we are the sides who are looking more threatening going forwards, aren't we?
Yep, and just that move, going back to it, just came from that James McLean, Seb Revan. It's just sort of rotation similar to what Reading have done. You know, can we try and play them at their own game in that area of the pitch? Because we know how high in quality James McLean can be out on that left-hand side.
Barney goes with the side foot as well, and I think he just maybe tee off a little bit and just try and lace it into that far corner. If you don't catch it right, might slice off into the near post.
O'Connell wins a good header. Revan under pressure, comes off him last, throw into Reading, 30 yards out, right-hand side.
Could have just left it.
Yeah.
Didn't need to hit it, came off their head. Just block it, let it go out for a throw, and it's our ball.
He's having a bit of a, I don't know, should we say careless day? He's just making those little mistakes, isn't he, Revan? It's not quite the level he's been in the last few matches. As here now on the right-hand side, there's a breath. Early ball forward's a good idea by Wing. Revan did well there to just nip in ahead of Campbell. Oh, that's a hard tackle on O'Connor, who battles back well, but the player who made that tackle is able, Campbell, to cut inside and win a throw left at the edge of the box, right-hand side. So, a breather. The ball in his hands. It's a neat turn by Campbell, but Revan read it well. He got away from McLean, but Revan was there to get a strong foot in. The mad woman of Charlotte on Ask Wrexham says, I love that every team facing Wrexham rises to the occasion. We make everyone better. I think Reading are a good team in a good spell of form. But having said that, yeah, they are battling well. As McLean there was barged into, then he barged into somebody. The ref says nothing. Oh, there's a back pass and Smith. Oh, nearly got there. Strickland did brilliantly, or Bindon rather. Just got there ahead of Smith, or he would have nicked it past him and been completely clear on goal. After a funny little spell where McLean, I think, was barged into, which made him fall into a Reading player. He was angry with the ref.
Yeah, he went from pillar to post, didn't he? I think the two of them sent him right to left.
But Smith nearly capitalised, so Wrexham nearly got the benefit of that wing. Nice little ball out, but well, a slip doesn't stop Wrexham. Wareham goes down, ref gives the free kick on the edge of the area. Did he go down a bit easily there? It's a shooting position just outside the D. And Wing is already picking all the grass out from between his studs, so he keeps his balance for this one.
Yeah, I think Rathbone just leaves a leg in there to try and delay in what was a really good area. Still is obviously a good area for Reading.
So, danger here. Savage is on the ball as well. Yeah, he just clips him from behind, didn't he? Wareham was just struggling to get the ball out from between his feet, and O'Connor had come across, and yeah, a bit of an unnecessary challenge perhaps. So danger. Wrexham have a wall. Interesting. Reading have lined a wall up in front of the Wrexham wall. See, they'll block any players coming to try and run out from the wall to block.
Yeah, it's very central, so sometimes you just try and get a little roll on it, try and make that angle.
So we're ready to go. Can Reading work something here? Okonkwo on his toes. And Wing drills it straight into the wall. The ball ricochets clear. He hit it well, because it's gone straight into the opposing half, and the referee rightly stops because Smith took it on the head and has been knocked off his feet, and the ref's got to stop that. A head injury. Smith is up. But yeah, the Reading fans boo. But I think, to be fair, when a free kick hits your head in the box and it ricochets into the opposing half, I think it's reasonable to say, I need to stop this and see if you're all right.
Well done to the wall, though. That's what your job is. I said it the other day. Get hit with it. Rub it better later. You'll be all right. He's just going to shake it off there, Smith. One of them.
Oh, the sound effects. It was like watching Police Academy 5. Reading are given the ball back by the ref. And Wrexham immediately are just putting a little bit of pressure on in the Reading half to force the ball back to the keeper, Pereira. We're into added time. Didn't the fourth official He's a bit slow with his board. He's still wandering up 1 added minute. He's just taken a 1/6 of that minute to show the board as well. Pereira drills it long. It's a miss header by O'Connell, but O'Connor bravely stoops, heads it partly away, and then Rathbone sort of thumps the ball into Savage, and the ball ricochets clear, but Reading have it again. There have been moments when our defending has been unorthodox and just about effective.
I don't think O'Connell really needs to come and head it, or he needs an earlier shout, because Rathbone's right underneath it. He's ready to head it, and then they get it all wrong between them.
Oh, McLean, that's a poor ball, and O'Connell battling, does ever so well to dig the Wrexham skipper out of trouble. He has it now, works it back to the edge of the Wrexham area. Cleworth works it wide. Barnett looking over the top for Smith, making a little run into out, beaten to it, and the referee says that's enough for that. Half-time whistle blows. Goalless at half-time. I don't think Phil Parkinson will be necessarily satisfied with the performance level, but I think he'll probably be satisfied with the fact that we've kept ourselves in it and, on balance, made maybe a few more decent chances than Reading have.
Yeah, I think in the moments where we have, really got our heads up and played that pass that Andy was talking about earlier in that first half, we have looked bright. And it's just making sure we can do that and don't rely on that long ball over the top to Sam Smith or Jay Rodriguez, because it's not really worked for us in this game like it maybe did more on Saturday. But this Reading team, as we've said, look tidy on the ball but haven't caused us too many problems in that final third, which goes to show the work we're doing off the ball. I think Matty James has been really good in that first half, has been brilliant, showed his game intelligence, made some really good interceptions. We've just got to make sure we keep sharp coming into the second half. Changes might be the key in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. As Mr. Controversy, Robbie Savage, walks up and says, "How are you third?" Divine intervention. That's the key thing, isn't it, in football? On Ask Wrexham, we have got a lot of people commenting on how close that effort was to the defender, nearly prodding it in, but putting it just over the bar, including Rathbone's warming blanket, channeling the 1920s vocabulary of the Beano and saying, "Cripes, that was close." Good to see that. Good to see the old-fashioned language coming in. Tom Streeter saying that Revan doesn't look sharp and that our pass is tentative. And
I just think that Phil Parkinson will get him in the changing rooms and say our passing needs to be a bit better, because, well, not a bit better, a lot better. Every time we have had a chance to make a pass, we've just got it wrong. It's difficult for the next one to control, which then they get pressured and then they've got to give it to the next man, and they're giving it not a great pass. Just got to make a real crisp first pass, get that first one out the way, out of that zone where they can go pressing, and then we can get our players up the pitch. And if we make 2 or 3 passes, that enables Tom O'Connor and Cleworth to get up and in. We just haven't got it wide enough, and we haven't got Barnett in the game running 1v1, have we yet? So there's a lot of things that we can improve on, but what we have done is in our mid-block, we haven't really conceded a goal-scoring opportunity to Reading in that first half. Robbie Savage having a bit of a go, how are we third? That's what he's saying. He's obviously not seen us all season, because we are functional. That's what we are, especially now in this important part of the season, is that we defend, and then when we get on opportunities, we've had probably the better 2 chances of the half, and we could be going in 1-0 up. So, and we've always, touch wood, been better in the second half, haven't we? When he's got them in and ironed out a few issues.
Yeah, if you want to see the fast-flowing, crazy stuff, come to the games on Sunday, because the women's team are just thrilling to watch. If you want to see a team that is hard-nosed and knows how to get a result, come and see the men's team, because that's exactly what we've been doing lately. I was sort of thinking, I'd have a game on Saturday, and before you expect some big bombshell, I didn't check this because I thought this is going to take a long time. But I was sort of thinking, what's the club record for the most 1-0s in a season? Because we really dig in and have had a lot of those.
Well, we've had 10. I think this season we've had 1-0s, and it was Arsenal of old, wasn't it?
Yeah.
1-0 to the Arsenal. Yeah. And it means you win, and a lot of clean sheets in there, which gives you defence confidence. I would like to score more. I think we need that striker to start up. I'm hoping the goal on the weekend set Smith off, but he's feeding on scraps, isn't he, today? He's just up pretty much on his own. Rodriguez sitting in a little bit deeper to help out the midfielders with the rotations. But if you do we get there, go 2 up, just go for them. Go for the, play into them and hope that they get us something. I think they'd prefer that, to go forward, but I'm not managing, and we've been very, very good in that functional system that we're playing.
I've liked in amongst the performance where our passing hasn't been all that crisp. I've liked Matty James. I think he's broken a lot of play up by Reading, and he has moved the ball on well, and he's dealt well when players have given him passes that make him check his stride or drop a bit behind him, and he's managed to compensate for them. I feel we've seen a bit of his quality here in a game where Reading are willing to press with their young legs, but he's press resistant and is able to get a little bit of space and play the pass that opens the pitch up.
But I think you can see him as well when we haven't got the ball out of possession. He's orchestrating the players around him. Go on, you go tight, you go forwards, I'll cover you, And that is so important when you're playing like a zonal system like we are, where people will come into your area. You've got to know with their left shoulder, right shoulder, but the communication from behind is so important, communication from in front. It all comes down to then functionally moving as a big one group and not letting those passing lanes open up so where they can feed it through.
And that's all about those hours of hard work in the training grounds, and experience as well, and the way everything gels. And I mean, that's something I've always thought about Parkinson's side. It's why players don't get quickly into the team. And to take that in a slightly different tangent, it's why I think Mia, Smith and Rodriguez have done well to bed in like this, because they've not had that long spell working on a changing ground. They've come immediately straight in.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of people always talk about Phil Parkinson often being reluctant, particularly in his spell at Wrexham. I can't really comment on previous, but that being reluctant, to change the team. But I think when you look at his record at Wrexham and how successful he's been, you don't change something that's working, do you? So, especially I think looking at maybe in more recent times, obviously Smith and Rodriguez up front at the moment. I mean, just look at our results for the last few weeks since they've come in. Obviously, particularly away from home, we've just been winning games. And I know, often people say, oh well, performance maybe wasn't at the absolute top quality, or it wasn't the most beautiful game to watch. But I tell you what, if we do, obviously touch wood, if we do, make history at the end of the season and do get ourselves promoted, I certainly for one won't be talking about Northampton away where we could have played a little bit better. That's actually a poor example because I actually thought we were brilliant at Northampton. It was just the first one that came to mind. But you know what
Crawley.
I mean. Crawley away, where no one's going to bring that up. You just have to absolutely, especially at this point of the season. I saw an old video actually of an interview with Joey Jones the other week talking about it, how it's just about getting those 3 points. It doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter where or when. You've just got to get them. And hopefully, tonight we can do that in this second half with just that extra little bit of quality. I think, just missing that creative spark. I think in that first half where we just get our head up, get on the ball, just that little bit of extra sharpness, and that all begins at the back. With the likes of Seb Revan. Can he just get on the ball? Can he just get that pass right? It doesn't matter whether you're going back. Just get that pass, get that little extra bit of possession.
100% right. 100% right. And I mean, for me, it's understandable. You watch your team play, you want to see them look devastating. I mean, please don't get me wrong. Everybody wants to be a Liverpool fan in Klopp's prime, seeing his team just rip into the opposition. Absolutely. But if we sort of drop that mentality for a moment, which is natural, okay, this was hard work and there were elements that we can definitely improve. But I feel we've got more scope to improve than probably Reading have, because Reading are executing their game plan and they're running into our traps and we're defending well and they're not really getting into our boxes, those stats proved, whereas we are, without looking on top of our game, hitting them on the transition and getting into positions where that final ball's not quite been right, but we've been in there. Smith has had some half chances. I feel encouraged by it if I drop my desire to see us blow a team away. It's it can be a stressful way for your team to play, but we are consistently getting results. So we have to trust the process, I think.
Absolutely, and I think, if you just look at the other teams in this league, I can't think of many others in that sort of top half, really, or those really challenging for playoffs, maybe Birmingham being the anomaly, who actually want to play. I think most teams are pretty similar to Wrexham in being that, quite functional, quite direct, and I think that's how, particularly in this league, you do, get out of it, really. So it's interesting, isn't it? The ones who maybe do take those extra risks end up actually struggling a bit more and maybe dropping a few more points.
Absolutely. As I'm just looking at my notes, but I sort of try and note down the key moments that I think are worth pondering on. I've only written one attacking moment for Reading, which was that hit by Wareham that went over. Okay, there's a free kick as well that went over. That could have turned into a chance, but apart from that, we kept them at arm's length pretty well, I think, really, to be fair.
Yeah, it's 6 shots to 5. Reading 6, Wrexham 5. 1 on target. Now, I'm going to ask if Smith's right foot after that left foot was on target, because the keeper actually scrabbled across, didn't he, and got a hand to it, so I'm saying that was on target, so they've got it wrong, statisticians.
Typical striker. What can you say? Well, in that case, I'm having it as a save. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Quid pro quo.
That's fine.
Yeah. Snossages on Arse Wrexham, and can I just say well done for your name and the fact that your name is Snossages but your emoji is a goldfish. It says, so Stockport have had a similar rise through the ranks. Why do you think Wrexham get all the hate and attention? I'm going to say the narrative, jealousy. Let's be honest, Stockport have had a lot of investment into them. This is fine. And their owners seem to be cut from a good cloth. But we're the ones with the label of being the team with the Hollywood money when, our budget isn't, by any imagination, the biggest in this division. But we are labelled with that, and we always will be. I think it's the honest truth of the matter.
Well, it's because of our reach, I think. It's, the size of the two owners, what they've brought to the football club, and how that we have sort of just blown up over the past 2 or 3 years. They just purely believe that it is financial, that they have just backed the team way more than anybody else in our league to get those top spots and those promotions. And I don't think it's as big a leap from some of the teams in our divisions than people make out. We're not in the top 5 in this division, so the stats would say, before the transfer window. And so that just suggests that it is a bit, unfortunately, it is of jealousy. I would say every fan doesn't like it, but every fan would love it for their club. Yeah. And that's what football is, isn't it? It's an opinion-related game. And unfortunately, they don't like the idea. There are a lot of fans out there that do like the idea of us doing well off the back of 2 Hollywood owners coming in from nowhere and taking the club forward and putting money in. But the money, they wouldn't just put it in for no reason. They understand it. They're businessmen. They've got the sponsors in. They've got the whole thing going. We are, like I think you might have said, Mark, the second biggest in most states out in America, watch teams. And it's like, that doesn't happen overnight. And that generates money for us. Yeah. And so we can spend more than other clubs do because of our reach.
That's it, exactly, isn't it? And I think as well, for me, I strongly think there's a big difference, not just in football, but in all sorts of aspects of life, between the online mood and the real mood. And, people in the football banter section of social media or in the angry bits behind the goals of grounds might really dislike us, or certainly say they do, but the vast majority of people you meet in away games or whatever are delighted for us. They genuinely are.
But the example that we gave there of Stockport, they wouldn't be paying pittance for Louis Barry coming from Villa. Do you know what I mean? And so that just goes under the radar because it's a loan and they're not spending. No, that would have cost them a fortune. But we take Jay Rodriguez. And that's just blowing everybody's mind. And really, it is frustrating, but it's part of it. That's what we've got to deal with.
I know it as well. Another example of like the perception as the team start to come out again for the second half. We didn't give Reading 2 million for Sam Smith. We just didn't. But it's been accepted as fact, and it doesn't matter that it's not a fact. The figure's about 700,000, something like that. But having said that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's been paid, it's what's been accepted.
But it probably could go to 2 million.
Yeah.
You know, over appearances, goals. We get to the Premier League, he scores 50 in a season. You know, these ridiculous clauses that these strikers have these days in their contracts. It might end up at 2. Hopefully it does, because he'll have hit all his clauses. But at the moment, no, it's not. It's 700, like you say, or whatever, and then incremental. When he's played 10 games, we'll give him a bit more, etc. And that's how transfers work. But it's a big 2 mil statement by Wrexham in the League One. It's unheard of. Well, hold on, Birmingham did 15 on Stansfield, but again, that deal wouldn't have been 15 because it would have probably been less with add-ons again.
2.5 for Clara, centre back as well, who's class, wasn't he, at the racecourse? On us, Wrexham, of course, we want to suggest any of those clauses as Reading restart, which will take it up to 2 million. I believe one of them is if he gets to do the half-time show in the 2026 World Cup final, we have to pay Reading $500,000. I think we also have to pay out if he marries Diana Ross. Is she still alive? I think she is. So there's still a danger we'll pay that, as Rodriguez is penalised. I'm not totally sure that a free kick should go that way, if I'm honest, but then that's me for you. It's a clash of shins on the halfway line. Free kick goes Reading's way. I just feel, like I said, that Wrexham have got a bit more improvement space in this second half if we can just get a bit sharper using the ball. Free kick, Wing stands on it. And feeds the ball back. Binden's working it across. Wrexham again, the 2 strikers, just force the ball back to Pereira. He was happy to roll it to the feet of Binden. He now tries to release the ball down the flank, and O'Connell's touch on his chest isn't what he was aiming for, and he has to slash out for a throw 20 yards out on the left-hand side. Taken quickly by Garthier. That's again in the middle of the pitch. Wing scurrying from left to right, finds a bit of space to roll a breather, and lovely step over, leaves McLean for dead, and then pops it wide. Cross comes in early, good header clear by O'Connell. Ball doesn't stick for Rodriguez though, and a long range shot comes in well off target. Okonkwo not concerned by that effort from Savage.
Yeah, that's where for Rodriguez he's just got to make it stick, hasn't he? He's just got to make sure that touch is that bit better. It's a difficult one coming at him with pace, but for a player of his quality, I'd expect him to do better with it, because it just brings Reading straight back onto us when we're in a deep position.
Well, that's what happened on the weekend. We were able to keep it, and it did stick, and we were able to then get runners.
Oh, Revan's caught late there, and the Wrexham fans sarcastically cheering. It'll be a yellow card as well, as the ball was played long. McLean was very cute, just blocked his man off to allow Revan to get after it, and Strickland committed fully to the tackle. Didn't get there before Revan, and as a result has a yellow card, and Wrexham with a free kick on the left and a chance to put this into the box. So Rathbone across to take it. Reading holding a line on the edge of the box, as big man O'Connor is taking it. Wrexham fans stirring up the atmosphere. O'Connor waits for the go-ahead and eventually gets it. He signals and he sweeps it in towards the penalty spot. Headed partly away. O'Connell can't get to it. It's poor header away though. Rathbone hooks it back into the box, and now O'Connell swings across to the far post. McLean's got a lot to do here. He's done well to try and feed it backwards, and the ball's driven on target but straight at the keeper by O'Connor. Good contact by him on the volley there, wasn't it? But just couldn't get the angle on it.
Yeah, it was nice. He just sat up for him on his left foot, hoping it just nestles in that far corner, but he hits it straight at the keeper.
As now Reading get the free kick in midfield. I never quite. It can vary whether it's a good or a bad thing, and both sets of fans are sarcastically clapping the ref every time he gives them something. Hey, Reading clip the ball long, and Revan's beaten in the air by Campbell. Ooh, and O'Connell's beaten to it. He's given a penalty. Now, did O'Connell make a challenge there, or was he just coming across? Ooh, I don't know. I really want to see that again.
Yeah, well, first viewing of it, I thought it was clumsy.
Yeah.
He's just tried to run across, and I just don't think he's. I think he put a leg in.
I mean, who initiates the contact on that? O'Connell also arguing it's outside the box.
Reminds me of that Shrewsbury away one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, O'Connell's not happy. Got another angle now. Let's have a look at this. It's not much contact on. I can't help feeling that's a sort of pen refs don't give very often.
Yeah, he
Although
does.
it's contact. Actually, it is contact, isn't it? Foot to foot. He's just tried to side foot it on the volley away. Wareham gets his toe to it first.
Yeah, that's why it has been given, because Wareham gets that touch. So then the ball's nowhere near when O'Connell makes the challenge. And it's just such a poor start to the second half for Wrexham.
The Reading fans applaud. Wareham was looking like he was going to take it. He was just protecting the ball on the spot. And now it's Harvey Nibbs who steps up, and he's taking a long time spotting this up very carefully. Nibbs now stands on it for a long time, just settling himself. He's going to get booked for time wasting at this rate. Still there. No run up at the moment. He steps back very deliberately. 4 steps, 5 steps, changes the angle, right footed, hits it and scores. And Conquo, deceived by Nibbs' movement, guessed the wrong way. Wrexham, after 3 consecutive clean sheets, concede a penalty. Nibbs drilling the ball home, and Wrexham have got to step it up now.
Yeah, he's been Mr. Reliable so far for Reading this season, Harvey Nibbs. That takes him to 12 goals, their top goal scorer. And it's a great penalty, like you say, sends Arthur the wrong way.
Conquo just telling the team to calm down, and there's all sorts of gestures going on. Reading is still in Wrexham's penalty area celebrating. Referee not showing a huge amount of eagerness to getting them back into the Wrexham half. Well, we're nearly in the 53rd minute now, and the penalty was given in the 50th. So I hope the ref's going to take this into account. We've seen refs starting an awful lot of time on lately. Well, that penalty took an eternity. Lovely finish by Nibbs, though, and he drilled it bottom corner. Sent to Conquo the wrong way. So Wrexham restarts and need to step up here. O'Connor drilling it long, headed away firmly. In the middle of the pitch, O'Connell conceded the penalty, gives the ball away. The other thing about Shrewsbury was that once he made mistakes, he started making more. He can't afford to do that. On the halfway line, Nibbs goes backwards rather than turning into space. And Reading move it around on their own area. Long ball over the top. Wareham chasing again. O'Connell trying to come across. Similar situation, bit wider. And good strength by Wareham to hold O'Connell off. In midfield now. It's prodded inside by a Breffer. A ball back out wide. Chance for a cross perhaps, although they're building this up very, very nicely. It's played into the far post eventually, and the ball is cleared by Wrexham. The Reading claim it back though. Rathbone fighting to try and retrieve the ball, but Savage gets a cross in. Lovely touch by Ahea Bashman, and it's driven wide by Wareham, who claims there was a deflection. Not one I could see, I've got to be honest. Wrexham not responding well to going behind. We're having to dig in again here.
Yeah, manage the situation now for the next couple of minutes. Really good touch. That could have been a corner, actually, that. Don't know if it just got a toe from Matty James.
Okonkwo with the goal kept. Rodriguez beaten well in the air by Strickland. It's hooked over the top by Campbell, an awkward one for O'Connell, who takes it well. But his clearance is charged down, and Wareham latches onto it in the box, tries to knock it square. Cleworth intercepts, is played back in, a difficult one to control, but it drops kindly for Nibbs, who mishits his shot, and Congo comes across and grabs hold of it. Wrexham looking scrappy at the back, not getting clear clearances in.
Yeah, but that sums up the energy and confidence in this Reading team at the moment. The youthfulness shining through. It's great pressure. Don't give up on it. Try and get a block on that clearance like they do. And it just doesn't drop from in the end in the box. Ryan Barnett gets a bit lucky with that header, doesn't get it right. But again, Reading just looking more threatening.
Okonkwo through the middle, miss header, and now it's being chased by Smith, but it's dealt with well by Bindon.
Well, the front three for Reading have come out and really caused our three problems. They're really wide, really high, and just got really good pace running in those channels behind, and they've caught us a couple of times straight down the side of us.
Long ball forwards. Here Basherman is allowed space to bring the ball down, and then receives it again. Garcia cutting inside, tidy on the ball, finds the other inverted fullback, Abrafa. And it's turned nicely round the corner. This is a good move. Wing lays it on, and now he can hit this, and he scores! And that is a lovely move and a very, very well taken goal by Wing. But Wrexham have had a nightmarish start at this half now, but Wing was in the centre of everything then, and when the ball fell to him, he gets his teammate out of the way and drills it in the bottom right corner.
Yeah, great goal by Reading. It all starts with Ehibashi Oman. He starts out wide and drags Max in and then goes back inside, and him and O'Connell don't know who to go. And then they just play some really nice intricate passes in the middle, our midfield step. And they just keep those rotations inside. James McLean, Ollie Rathbone, all taken out of the game, really. And then it's a great finish by Lewis Wing. Great goal by Reading. Real tough ask now for Wrexham to try and get back in this game. This is a real test of your promotion credentials.
Well, that's just a fantastic goal. Kept the ball, probably about 14, 15 passes in there. Little sharp movements, play and follow. And then just drills it right at the end into the bottom corner. Arthur, no chance.
And like you say, Mia, it's just like players not quite sure who to pick up, because the two inverted fullbacks were virtually holding hands as they exchanged passes in the middle of the pitch, and that released other midfielders to get into other positions. Garcia is a player with the assist, feeding it in from a central position, and yeah, they got that rotation in, and players were able to move the ball around, and Wrexham weren't quite sure who to pick up. They were overloaded, and ultimately great finish, but lovely move by Reading.
Yeah, well, it came to the point where the midfield two tried to do the press and didn't win it, and then the defensive back line hadn't stepped, so it left a massive space for the likes of Harvey Nibbs to just step in there, and once they're on the ball, their technical quality is just too good for Wrexham, and it's, like you say, it's such a good finish.
Well, Wrexham will run a corner. The Wrexham fans who are right in that corner of the pitch are looking to encourage their team. O'Connor across to take it. Still got more than half an hour left. There's plenty of time in the game. It's just that Wrexham need to step this up massively. O'Connor steps up, rips it beyond the far post. Nobody's made that peeling back run though, and the ball will roll out of play. Wow. Ehio Basherman decides to keep it in just as about to go out for what I assumed was a Reading throw. I didn't think anyone got a touch on that. How strange. Throw to Wrexham now on the halfway line, left-hand side.
Yeah, I thought just as we were 1-0, I thought maybe changes were needed, because we just looked a little bit at 6s and 7s at the back and all over the pitch. I thought maybe just make a change, but we just didn't have time. Reading was so good.
Cleworth with a testing ball over the top. Smith will be beaten to it. He's got a chance to put pressure now. He can't afford to foul. He's done really well. Throw-in goes against him. Right by the corner flag.
Yeah, it's just asking so much, isn't it, of Sam Smith. Those balls over the top, you just never really fancy him. It's the right idea from Max, because he hasn't got much else in front of him. He hits into an alright area, but you just always fancy the defender.
Wrexham make a change then. Phil Parkinson is bringing off Seb Revan. and Elliot Lee comes on for him. So McLean will go across to left back. And Wrexham now will look to box Reading in, throw down the line. Well won by Cleworth. Touch by Rodriguez is a nice one, but it's all very crowded in there, and in the end, your Basherman gets the foot in, the throw to Wrexham, about 15 yards into Reading half, right-hand side. Cleworth down the line, it's touched on by Rodriguez. Smith battles, can't get their goal kick, to the delight of the Reading fans.
Well, I think you can see why Smith scored so many goals earlier in this season for Reading, the way that they play. We get opportunities playing that central one, be pretty much 1v1. Just gets marshalled out. At the moment, we're just playing too many long balls, hopeful balls that he'll get on the end of them. We haven't really made a pass this second half yet, have we? And Reading have made it really hard for us.
How often in this half have we been able to get players close up to Smith while we're in possession? Very rarely. Here now is Barnett on the right, immediately closed down, lifts over the top. Now that is a better pass for Rodriguez, who is hampered. That's a really good piece of defending, that. Twice Bindon goes down to ground and wins it. Throw to Wrexham 10 yards out right hand side.
Yeah, he does really well, Bindon, because Jay Rodriguez gets his body in the way. You think he's the one in control, and Bindon does really well to recover, get that tackle around the corner.
Barnett wins another throw in roughly the same place. Rathbone looks as if there's a quick option, but there isn't. So Barnett again. This movement towards the near post by Rodriguez. Barnett looks like he wants to put something a bit longer in. There's not much movement for him. He's put a decent long throw in. Rodriguez flicks it on as well. Half clears. Overhead kick is a decent effort by Lee, but it's straight at the keeper, who fields it comfortably. Worth a goal. He struck it too well. If he just sliced it a little bit, it might have flown inside the post.
Yeah, quite a difficult technique from the edge of the box if they fly in. Optimistic, but yeah, that's definitely worth a go.
Cleworth makes the ball his when it's knocked long by Pereira. McLean with an underhit header, and Nibs now has got a chance to put pressure on O'Connor. Carries it down the right. He's got support and uses it. Abreffa works it back into midfield. And again, Reading putting good pressure on Wrexham. It's good work. Abreffa twisting and turning, getting away from his man, accelerates and chips the ball in and gets a corner off O'Connor. Yeah, they've been sharp, and they look more dangerous this half, don't they? Actually, they have stepped up. Having said, I thought Wrexham had more gears to go through. Reading have actually gone through their gears.
I just think they've been braver on the ball. I think that sometimes, it sounds really simple, but can be the difference. They just want to take on a man, and they just seem to have that extra little bit of time and space because they're doing things quicker.
Well, they've earned another set piece in Swinger. And there's a massive wad of players in the middle of the 6-yard box. Ball swept in there, and O'Connell did well to get something on it. Now then, is that offside? Yes, it is. Relief for Wrexham. Not least I wondered whether it might have been a handball by Barnett, but anyway, free kick. O'Connell will take it by the corner flag.
Well, I'd expect Fletcher very, very shortly. I think Jay Rodriguez not been great today. Just his touch not quite finding out. Our players, we're so deep.
Yeah.
Really deep. We've just dropped off, and that enables them then to get it into feet so easily.
Here Basherman picked out on the left-hand side, running at Cleworth, has to backpedal. He tries to work it inside. Rathbone comes across and intercepts. His header away isn't great, though. He makes another challenge, though, and that forces a poor ball forward. Smith isolated up front, fighting away. Does terrifically well to find Rathbone, but he's outnumbered. And in the end, it's Garcia who gets across and puts it back to the keeper. Rathbone, like we said, did pick up a knock of some sort on Saturday, and I don't think he's been quite himself either in terms of his influence on the game. Although, to be fair, if Wrexham haven't been keeping the ball as well as normal, it's hard for the midfielders to get into it. Here's Bindon. Garcia, ooh, heavy touch. Smith gets a challenge in, but it ricochets back to Pereira, who makes Smith come to him before picking it up. So Pereira wandering up to the edge of his box. The Reading fans really enjoying this. 8 games unbeaten into this. Like I said, the longest unbeaten run in the division. You can see why. As the ball is lifted down the line. O'Connor steps up, wins it. The Reading fans shout for handball. Wrexham win a throw in. No, they don't. It goes the other way. Rodriguez scrapping but couldn't win it. And the ball is thrown back to Strickland, who sets himself as Rodriguez puts him under pressure, knocks it long. O'Connell heads it into midfield. James again with a sure touch, but a poor pass out from the back by O'Connor. And it's pinged over the top, something to test. Okonkwo comes comfortably to take it and throws it out. That's not a great throw. Cleworth can't get to it ahead of Wareham. And now here's Garcia driving forwards. Matty James forces him a bit deeper. Yeah, the confidence, as you can see, drain out of them. Players just making mistakes like that.
But their press is so good.
Yeah.
So quick. Tom O'Connor gets the ball. He hasn't got time to take a touch and play forward with any quality. They're on him. And we haven't got any options to just make sure that pass goes quickly. Our tempo this second half has been pretty much non-existent.
Pereira plays it wide. McLean gets a foot in, but Abrefa still does well. Holds on to the ball. It's not the kindest ball back to him by Savage, who's trying to knock it back. And Savage quickly feeds out to Ehio Basherman. Goes round the outside of Cleworth. Cleworth sticks with him well. Good defending that. Reading want a corner. Well, again, the crowd again do. Cleworth nearly inadvertently got a toe on it, but he managed to pull out. And he did well to stand up against Ehio Basherman and forced a loss of balance. The Conquo then with the goal kick. Places the ball centrally. It surely can't be long before changes are made. Ryan Longman's just... Has he been called back to the bench as the ball's knocked long? It seems he has. Ball's headed clear by Wing. Drops loose. Wing again attacks that well. O'Connell gets up. Wing uncharacteristically hoofs the ball up in the air. And again, O'Connell is there to win the header. Smith does well, creates a loose ball that drops kindly for Barnett, breaking down the right. The Wrexham fans find their voices. Good tackle coming back though. Throw to Wrexham. Savage did well to get a foot in.
Well, we said that at the start that we could try and bully them a little bit, be strong, use our experience, and we just haven't been able to. They've been absolutely outstanding. The two centre halves have won everything in the air against our two. We've not been able to keep it up the top end of the pitch, which means it keeps coming back on us. Good
ball by O'Connell. And now the ball's fed out by Lee to McLean. Chance to cross. Stands it up to the far post. Smith gets it well. Heads it in. Great save by the keeper. Rodriguez was offside as he went for it. But that was a hell of a save by Pereira. Smith, with his shirt being pulled, did really well to get power on that. Headed back across the keeper from 10 yards out.
Yeah, especially because of the style of cross it is from James McLean. Just sort of almost dinks it in, really. Smith has to generate all the power himself. He does really well. And then Rodriguez just coming in from that offside position if he did end up tapping it in. But great save, Pereira.
Smith did ever so well and powerful header. Acrobatic save.
But that's what we need to do. We need to utilise our wing-backs more, like how we did, so early on in the season. Just think how effective they were.
Well, Pereira's going to get a yellow for time wasting here. They've took an eternity over that set piece. And there really ought to be a fair chunk of time added on at the end of this, but Wrexham have to get themselves into a position where they want that, where they're in the game. We're exactly halfway through the second half. Firm header away again by O'Connell. And Barnett will pick up the loose ball on the right and looks to accelerate, but Savage working hard, tracks him back. Rathbone lays her off to Cleworth, pings it to Barnett, crunching tackle, puts it out, throw in given. Savage lunging in on Barnett. Wrexham again looking to build from the back. Just a little spell where we have looked to get forwards a bit more progressively. O'Connell put under pressure though. Wrexham have to work it around and find Lee. He rather turns in instalments and is then pressured by Nibbs. He's done well to lead it on into midfield. James keeps that ball moving. O'Connell scoops it across and Cleworth has to run backwards to take an awkward ball in his chest. And just all sort of little slack passing.
I just feel like we're making it difficult for us and each other at times. Just the passes into feet, sometimes a bit behind, at an awkward height.
As Smith is buffeted from behind, and in the end creates a loose ball. Rathbone gives it straight back to Reading. He's trying to put pressure on Garcia now, and Garcia turns away from him and clears. Yeah, and you know, okay, Reading have pressed well and hurried us, but we haven't dealt well with it, with the exception, I would argue, perhaps of Matty James there, who does well then, under pressure, just lean into his man, turn away and find space. Ball driven over to, that's a nice ball for Barnes, he takes it on the chest and just gets away from him. Gets a tackle in again with Savage, throw goes against Barnett, who is not impressed with that decision. But yeah, Savage is much more of a ball player than his dad, but he's showing he'll roll his sleeves up, cover ground and get the challenges in. Wrexham got Longman and Fletcher ready to come on. Not going to do it now though.
Well, they need a spark from somewhere. Try and get us back in this game. 20 minutes to go.
So, throw down the line. Barnett can't reach it. And there your Basherman does well to pop it off, but he can't get back down the line. Reading furiously arguing it as obstruction. Referee's not interested on this occasion. And now we will see the changes. So 70th minute. Off comes Rodriguez.
And McLean.
And McLean the other one. And Longman then will go on to the left-hand side. And up front, Fletcher and Smith will try and make some sort of impact.
Yeah, sorry, Mark. Can we get the ball into Longman? I didn't think his quality was as its usual high standard on Saturday.
Smith does really well, but nobody's gone in support of him. He's held off his man. He's surrounded by Reading players. In the end, he's robbed, and he deserved more support there. Ball played forwards. O'Connor's done well to clip it on. Lee receives but turns backwards, then goes back and tries to drive through the middle. That's good. Hits the shot. Well blocked. Wing stood his ground well. Here Basherman in his own defensive third with some fancy footwork gives it away. Barnett though can only prod it back to him. Barnett tries to get it back out here. Basherman, lovely skill, sells James down the river, feeds it forwards. Ref plays advantage, does he? No, he gives a free kick in the centre circle. And will that be a card against O'Connell, who stepped out and body checked his man?
Yeah, I think it should be. Maybe not.
It isn't, and I must say it should have been, and especially because he then just walked away from the ref, who kept blowing his whistle at him, and because he didn't come back, he didn't book him. Wow, strange decision by the ref. O'Connell gets away with one there. Here Basherman now on the left-hand side, level the edge of the area again. Cute just pops the ball off before Rathbone can get there. The ball's crossed in before Rathbone get there too. It's flicked on neatly by Wareham, and there's a clash of heads in the box. So O'Connor, I think, from Wrexham point of view, got the worst of it, but he's slowly getting up. So we've got 18 minutes plus added time to start kick-starting things. If Fletcher and Longman can somehow change matters.
Yeah, I think Elliot Lee's looked brighter as well when he's been on the ball, looking to be direct. You know, confident to take a man on and just drive into space, and that's what we've missed really when going forward. So
free kick. Okonkwo knocking it long. Fletcher sprinting across, leaps, beaten to it in the air though by the excellent Bindon. Throwing 10 yards into Reading's half on the left-hand side. We still have Mo Farrell on the bench, of course, and of course the Dan Scar up front experience. As O'Connell to Cleworth. Okonkwo now. Works it square well behind Rathbone as the run to the corner flag to retrieve and hack a clearance. I mean, we just played ourselves into literally into a corner there. Here Basherman gives it away. Lee quickly on the run, prods it out to Longman and gets in support of him. And is sharp to get there ahead of Wing. Lee looking to really pull the strings in the middle of the pitch, and Wrexham needs somebody to do that, don't they? They need to actually start passing the ball accurately to feet when you were going forwards, rather than just knocking it for the strikers to try and fight for.
Yeah, but just in that situation when Elliot Lee's on the ball there, all three of our midfield and obviously back line are in our own half. We're so deep.
That's lovely play though. Fletcher sweeps it, ball to the left. Longman rips it in, but Smith can't get to it again. Bindon is there. Lee then and Fletcher. Superb little passes on the turn to send Longman clear. But yeah, cross into a decent enough area, but Bindon and Strickland have
brilliant.
been terrific,
Bindon
haven't
has been terrific. He's won everything that's gone his way. Stepped in, tackled when he needed to, comfortable on the ball. Forrester got a player on their hands.
Yeah, Forrester goes bought him in January, but then loaned him straight back for the rest of the season. And I will never forgive them for this after this. He's been very impressive. Cleworth now. Wrexham trying to build in midfield. Rathbone back to Cleworth. Pops it inside. James has space now. Longman's demanding it over the top. He plays the ball towards him and Fletcher. Was Fletcher offside? Yes, he was. Not totally convinced he's looking for Fletcher, but yeah, he clearly had started a bit early there. So free kick again, Reading taking their time. Referee's blown his whistle to tell him to get on with it. And Strickland leaves it for his goalkeeper. Now, is this a red card for Pereira? It's going to be a yellow, isn't it, for Strickland? Although often it's the player who steps up who gets
He's already been booked. So
he's been booked, right. Well, I mean, how stupid is that? Incredible, huh? And Reading are complaining, but they've been so obvious in their time wasting, and now they've got a serious penalty as a result of it.
Well, absolute lifeline here for Wrexham, because we're just talking about Bindon being very good today, but I think Strickland also has matched him in terms of performance, and this is a massive blow for Reading now as they look to go into the last 15. I think there will be added on, but it's so stupid.
That's putting it lightly, isn't it? Stupid. I mean, the Reading fans are furious and are booing the ref, but what option have you got? If a player's on a yellow card and then he stands for ages, the referee blows his whistle and tells him to hurry up, and then he leaves it and runs up the pitch. I mean, they should be grateful that he didn't book Pereira instead and send the keeper off. That is madness. And he's taken an eternity. He's refusing to walk off the pitch. I mean, this needs to go in the ref's report. He could get a further ban here. He's still on the pitch.
And you do understand why he's frustrated, because we see it a lot where refs do sort of let it slide. But I think on this occasion, the referee's absolutely having none of it.
Yeah.
There's already been some quite solid time wasting, could you say, in this game. But absolutely, what an opportunity now for Wrexham, playing against 10 men. Can we go grab one? Take this momentum.
Well, he's finally left the pitch. The ref's given a yellow card to one of the Reading coaches as well.
Well, he can't go on the bench either. He needs to go down the tunnel.
Is he still there, is he?
I remember
I think they're telling him about
Ian Evatt got sent off for Blackpool when I was playing, and I got subbed off. He got sent off after 5. I got subbed off after 10. Sacrificial lamb. And I remember walking in the changing rooms. Go on.
Here's Wrexham now. Longman driving into the box, pulls it back nicely. Big chance this. Fletcher skies it. His first touch was wrong, wasn't it? Longman teed it him up nicely, edge of the area. Poor first touch, and he drills it over. Big moment that in the game.
Thought he could have gone first time. As it's rolled back, it's a good pace by Longman. He just pulls it back into his path. Maybe just not quite on his left. Yeah, just a bit awkward. But then bobbles up a little bit and he smashes it up over high over the bar. Normally his touch is so good as well.
He's so angry with himself as he walks away, as Reading making the change, understandably. Ehia Basherman comes off and on comes Harley Dean as they look to shore things up.
Yeah, so I walk in the changing rooms. Ian Evatt's in the changing room, sat down. He goes, "You've not been sent off as well, have you?"
Yeah, he had to be told, didn't he? He went and sat on the bench. And, yeah, coach had to come across and tell him, mate, you can't sit down and watch the game now. So, Pereira with the goal kick. Lee gets a touch to it. We're given a chance to come back in this, but we're a long way. Oh, as Fletcher's wrestled all over the place. The foul goes against him. I've got to say, the ref's concerned me a touch here today. I feel he's given decisions based on crowd reactions. The crowd are going nuts at him, and that looked the other way around to me, I've got to say. And there's been a few that are a bit like that, I feel.
Yeah, let's just play our game, play football, not
Yeah.
give him any opportunity to make our lives any harder than they need to be.
So free kick in the centre circle. I mean, Wrexham are also getting frustrated by the fact that, I mean, okay, they've been heavily punished for it, but they have been really blatant in their time wasting. Ball played in, headed partly away by Cleworth, and that's a nasty ball to O'Connell by Lee. O'Connell has to pass it on. Cleworth, his clearance is blocked, and a free kick is given again against Barnett. Well, it's a combination. I think we're losing our heads a little bit by the whole thing. Just some decisions have gone against us, but the refs sent one of their players off, so we can't complain that much.
Yeah, but again, it's just that lack of sharpness, isn't it? Elliot Lee just makes O'Connell's task a really difficult one by playing him that ball back, and then Max tries to come across, and we just end up giving away the free kick unnecessarily.
So free kick on the left-hand side. Savage is on it. I mean, the other thing, of course, is that the ref is now unlikely, I'd argue, to give any more yellows for time wasting, and is unlikely maybe to add on the amount that he was going to add on, because he's been getting the bird over being brave and showing the red card. Here it is, Savage sweeping it into the far post. Fletcher, good volley away. It's bobbling on the edge of the box, crucially half cleared by Rathbone, but it comes back in and the ball drops loose. What a save by Okonkwo. Cleworth couldn't win it cleanly. Ball smashed in. Luckily for Wrexham, close to him, and he stood up well. Now Longman is bursting down the left. Lee is asking for the pull up. Fletcher's knocked over again off the ball, and then he grabs hold of his man. The ref hasn't seen either of them. It's spread to Cleworth on the right now. He stands the ball into the crowded box, chested on. Longman's after that, but he can't get there. Blocks off the ball. Well, it's scrappy, this, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah, well, Fletcher's not happy. He was on the floor at one point. I was watching the ball, so I didn't quite see it unfold, but there was a lot of tugging, shirt pulling in there.
I mean, it looks as well. Yeah, I think again he was pulled down off the ball. He turned around and retaliated, and it was lucky for Wrexham when the crowd were shouting that he didn't spot that, as Fletcher's done really well to get up and head it wide. Longman does well to keep it in. Longman has given energy on the left, but he's yet to hit a target. Lee buzzing around, finds Cleworth. Lee once more looking to pull those strings. It's helped on nicely by O'Connor. Bit of space here now. Rathbone works it wide. Longman again, right-footed in, swings a good ball in, and it's towards goal. Another big save by Pereira. Again, Smith doing ever so well to get a header on target when the cross wasn't kind and the defender's all over him, and Pereira denies him.
Well, I don't know how much of it he got. It's a really good cross by Longman. Gets it back onto his right foot, puts it in the back post. This actually would have been an own goal, I think. Smith just gets eased out the way, hits Garcia, and a good save.
Wrexham at last have got momentum. Rathbone looking to ping the ball. It's a good ball to Smith on the right. He can't quite take it in his stride. He holds on to it. Garcia hassles him, and then Rathbone skips away from Savage as he nips at his ankles. Good ball by Rathbone. O'Connor feeds it quickly out to Longman. Can he deliver once more? He rips in another right footer. Fletcher can't get there. Smith heads across the face of goal, hits a defender and goes just wide. Smith, I think, is asking for a handball as his teammates aren't joining in. Well, it's like Barnsley, isn't it? Suddenly we've come to life. We're piling it on. Another change.
Well, the sending off has certainly lifted Wrexham. We've got it out wide. We've been able to find our spare man, and Longman's put in 2 or 3 really good crosses already.
Rathbone,
we've looked dangerous.
Rathbone's off, George Evans on, Mo Farl on, O'Connell off. Wrexham will go to 4 at the back. And we have got 7 minutes plus, you would think, a good chunk of added time. Wrexham fans making the noise. Corner swept in and flicked over the bar. It came awkwardly for Evans, and he just flicked his heel at it, couldn't get a proper contact.
Yeah, would have been some first touch, that, but it's a difficult one, a difficult area. I think it's behind him, hence why he has to do the flick, and just can't get good enough contact on it. But Wrexham need to use this momentum against 10 men. You're gonna be able to put that pressure on that we haven't been able to put on so far in this game. Can we take advantage?
Wareham has been terrific up front, and he's now going to come off. Andy Adam coming on, a bit of experience. Wareham clapping the fans, walking backwards off the pitch. Referee keeping a close eye on him. But Wareham has done very well, as he's really led the line. Terrific work rate.
Yeah, I think they've been sort of looking for that striker to replace Sam Smith, who was pretty much first choice. And for me, Wareham's that man. I know they've tried Ehibati Oman, but I think he's more of that winger, isn't he? That's his preferred role. But Wareham, yeah, he absolutely looks like he's the man to lead that line for Reading towards the end of the season.
He's given O'Connell a bit of a run around today, hasn't he? Just going long and then dropping short.
Reading have gone 3 at the back. Of Yadam on the right side is part of the 3 central defenders. Wrexham, of course, are now pushing Farl, Smith and Fletcher up the pitch. And we've also got the wing backs. It's like a 2-3-5 this from 100 years ago. Wrexham have a front line of 5 pushing on. The middle of the pitch is almost empty. Farl, good return ball. Lee, little step over, squares it. James has it. Reading is so deep, all but one of them in a line across the edge of their area. O'Connor out to Longman again, looks on his right foot, then beats his man. Suits a left-footed cross, it headed away powerfully though. It comes back out to O'Connor. The Adam who got the header on that. O'Connor back out wide again to Longman. Lee in support, but Longman wants to run at his man. Again, a right-footed ball in. Barnett gets up, Fletcher gets up, it ricochets loose. Pereira doesn't get there, and somehow it doesn't go in. Smith hits it, parried on the line. That's outrageous. Farl goes for it, and it's cleared. How that didn't go in, I don't know. And it bounces through to Pereira. That was astonishing, but the save by Pereira was madness.
Well, he was outside one of the posts and he's got back right in between them from nowhere and got a hand to it, I think. Fletcher does brilliantly well to just leave it in there, and Farl just can't quite get a touch.
Yeah, can Farl just throw anything he has at it? I think the defender does well, maybe just to hold him off. But Wrexham, was that the chance?
Well, we've got 4 minutes plus added time left. Something's got to go in soon as Matty James is pulled and reacts angrily. He gets the free kick. It was Campbell who was grabbing hold of him.
Well, with the quality Longman's putting in so far in this cameo and the way Reading are dropping off, you just feel like it's bound to come.
Give it to him. Give it to Longman as much as you possibly can.
Everything's ending in a cross. He delivers another one. Yadam off balance, manages to hit it square, and a Breffer is there. He looks up the line. He's been put under good pressure by Longman, who wins it back. That's good work. And is that a foul? Longman thinks so. We all think so, but it's cleared. O'Connor. Matty James again. Reading so deep. The 10 men of Reading. Longman sweeps it in under the bar, and that's easy for Pereira, who actually slightly mishandles it but reacts quickly. It's got to be said that save by Pereira from Smith was fabulous, although he should have done a lot better, I thought, when Fletcher put it back in there. And Farl, about a yard out, just can't get the contact on it. Defender gets red. Smith with a brilliant diving header. Outrageous save by Pereira. And when it comes back in, it's headed off the line. Now here's Reading. That's nice movement. That Savage and a neat pass down the left-hand side. And Campbell can hold on to it for a bit on that flank. Good tackle in the end, and Wrexham win it back. It was James who won it, and now he feeds it forward. Fletcher helps it on. Smith chasing, but Bindon will get the ball back to Pereira. He launches that long. And it's Matty James. Oh, a poor touch from him. Savage gets away from him. Lee snaps him with an important challenge. The ball rolls out of play, throw into Wrexham.
Just so deep, though. We've got our 3 centre-halves 20 yards away. And then in front of him is James, and then the rest of the Reading players.
Here comes Wrexham again from deep. It's Barnett available. That's a good ball to him by George Evans. Barnett dinks it into the far post behind everyone. Clearance Slice straight to Longman though, level the edge of the box again, taking on a Breffa, squares it nicely, Lee can hit this, oh poor touch, squares it to James, he squeezes it back, that pass wasn't on, and it's Nibs getting a foot in to clear to the halfway line, constant pressure. George Evans with the diagonal, Fletcher wins it well, Longman retrieves and does well to keep that in. Elliot Lee, Matty James demanding it. Lee drives inside, squares it to James, 30 yards out, quickly out to Longman, he knows where to put it, and Longman sweeps the ball in and it's headed over the bar by Fletcher. Another good cross by Longman, but Fletcher just couldn't get on top of it. Well,
Longman's been really bright.
Yeah.
Yes, they're down to 10 men, so yes, they're on the back foot, but every time he's got it, he's looked to be really positive and go at them. Fletcher gets up early, just can't quite get over the ball to head it down towards goal.
Well, if we're going to somehow get something out of this game, the ref's going to have to add a fair chunk on. We'll find out in 35 seconds as a miscontrol at the back by George Evans. Cleworth tidies up for him. And now Wrexham coming forwards once more. Lee put under pressure. Good persistence by him, gets away from wing and works the ball forwards. Longman is available, O'Connor rolls him in. Longman's cross blocked, it's the first time, but Breff has managed to stop him putting a cross in, and Lee clearly fouls his man. Free kick. Sarcastic cheers from the relieved Reading fans. As 7. Okay, that's about right, to be honest. Naturally, the Reading fans don't like it. So, it's Pereira again. They've got to be careful here. They're messing around again. Admittedly, there's a substitution going on, so maybe it wouldn't matter. But Pereira again involved in taking a long time over a set piece. Ken Campbell is coming off. He's played really well. And on comes one of the players who lost his place from Saturday, Mamadi Kamara. Not Camera, I've checked the accent on his name. So, we've got 7 minutes. Well, we've had nearly a minute off it with the ball off the pitch. Will the ref take that into account? He should. Long kick by Pereira, straight out of play. Throw taken quickly. Wrexham have the ball in our own half. Ball knocked long on the diagonal. Barnett gets up and will fight for that. Oh, he goes down off the ball. And oh dear, he's signalling that he's hurt. Fletcher's saying get the ball off the pitch. Eventually Reading do so, but I didn't like the way that he threw his hand up in the air then.
Both of them went down.
Well, Barnett making his first start for a while, of course. Yeah, they just landed awkwardly, it seemed, didn't they? And Wrexham certainly can't afford for what is looking like a bad day to go even worse. It does look in a bit of pain. Seems to be like his right calf he's reaching for, I think. Smith is across chatting to the stricken Garcia, who he looks in pain as well. He's beating the floor.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's just how he lands.
He lands on his foot, I think.
Almost lands too soon. His leg's not sort of extended, but it looks a real uncomfortable one. The hand goes up straight away. That's normally a telling sign, especially when you're 2-0 down.
Oh yeah. They both seem to land awkwardly. They go for the ball. They both miss out. Garcia is limping heavily off the pitch. Barnett is still down. And yeah, this is a worrying sight on a day which has not gone well. Barnett is up now and limping off the pitch. Now, we have used all our subs, of course. So, Barnett, the two of them shake hands on the sides of the pitch. It was an accidental coming together anyway, wasn't it? Fletcher gives the ball back to Pereira. They both look, well, Barnett certainly looks like he wants to come back on. Smith makes Pereira pick the ball up. They both look like, although Garcia is limping quite heavily. Pereira hits it right-footed. It's underneath it. Lee just miscontrols it. Good pressure on him. Cluas just hooks the ball back in, and Longman manages to tame it. Lee, deep in his half, spreads it across. 10 against 9. Cluas carries it forwards. Wrexham need to get it up. The two players are back on the pitch now, as the ball is clipped into the Reading box, headed away by Dean, taken well by O'Connor, but he runs straight into the challenge, and the ball is smashed away. Phil Parkinson runs beyond the Reading technical area, hoping to retrieve the ball. It's a throw anyway. Cluas takes quickly, as James squares it. George Evans. Wrexham have again space in midfield as Reading drop off. Longman on the chase, beats his man to it and it engages, pulls it back. Space for Lee on the corner of the box, cuts inside on his right foot. Good pressure on him though. He has to go back to George Evans. Evans quickly across to Longman. Another chance for him to get a go at a breather. Chips it in, takes a deflection. It's a kind deflection, and Pereira takes it and drops on the ground gratefully. And the Wrexham fans have looked to make good noise on this long journey, but I suspect it's dawning on them now that this late fury is going to signify nothing. Poor kick by Pereira. Barnett nods it forwards. Dean partly clear, helped on. And in the end, it's Barnett doing very well. He seems to be moving pretty well. Savage takes him out. It's got to be a card. Savage is
right
lucky.
On the same calf as well, or ankle, for Barnett.
I thought Savage was really lucky when he grabbed hold of Matty James's shirt to stop him breaking down the pitch, not to get a booking, so that gave him freedom to pick one up there. Well, if we're going to pull off a miracle, we're going to have to do it now, I would argue, because we've got just over a minute of the added 7. The ref's got to add more time on for the injury to Garcia and Barnett. As Evans stands it up, Fletcher gets up, heads it up in the air. It's Yadam underneath it. Has it gone for a corner? Connor's done well to win a corner. Goal kick given. All right. Wrexham surprised at that, but there's not as much energy in their protest as there has been in the past. I think they know the result's gone now.
Yeah, and it's a frustrating one. I know we've still got minutes left. You know, miracles do happen. But really frustrating night from a Wrexham perspective. But I think Reading, you know, particularly coming out in the first few minutes of that second half, just really full of energy and just made it so difficult.
Ball headed clear, and Fletcher helps it on, but not down the channel that Farlow Smith were attacking, and the ball is driven away. Throw in to Wrexham, deep in our own half on the right-hand side. And with 5 seconds left of the added 7 minutes, there should be more time added on, but the truth is that Wrexham 2-0 down here at Reading. Can't complain. There's lots of bodies in the box. There's Barnett on the right, onto his left foot. Sees him moving okay after that knock, finds Cluas. Wrexham have got to deliver this. They've got 5 players in the area. Barnett onto his left foot again, stands it. Oh, that's a good ball. Fall heads it over. It's a big chance, but Pereira was coming off his line, and I guess Fowl just felt he had to make an early contact, and under pressure puts it over.
Yeah, I just think it needed the slightest of touches. I think if anything, he gets too much on it. Just let the ball do the work. Pereira's come out, and he just gets too much on it. Big chance.
Yeah, you just have to let those hit your head. Just deflect it slightly, because the keeper's coming for it. You've got the whole goal. You just need to get it on target. He just uses his neck muscles a bit too much. Flicks it up over the bar.
Terrific header by Longman. Ball drops loose. Wrexham coming forwards again, but not for long. Bindon smashes it clear. Cluas again misjudges in the air, heads it square, and a Reading scurrying forward. Nibs, who started the scoring after winning a penalty, draws a foul from Matty James. Free kick, level the edge of the box. That will be it. And appropriate maybe that Nibs drawing a foul is what ends it, because that challenge on him by O'Connell that conceded the penalty early in the second half just turned this game around massively.
Yeah, I think for me every single player in a Reading shirt has been, at least a 7-8 out of 10.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They've been energetic.
That's
pressing.
the word. That's the word, Mark. Energetic. They've been all over Wrexham when they've been in possession of it. They've not given them a minute to make a decent pass. And then when they've had to, they've defended resolutely at the back and headed everything out their box. Bindon's been brilliant.
Oh, absolutely. And until he was sent off, Strickland was good as well, wasn't he? As Lee does well, beats his man, surges at the edge of the area. Is he fouled? Ref says not. And again, a chance for a breakaway. The ball worked wide by Camara, who goes and supports and receives the return pass, and Reading happily holding it up in the midfield. We've had over 2 minutes added on to the 7 the ref added on. Reading fans don't like that, but after the long treatment between Garcia and Barnett, the ref's got to do it. Ball drops in midfield and picked up by Wing, who launches it long. Still no final whistle as the ball's headed back to the keeper by George Evans. The fans are irate, but they've got the win in the bag here. Long diagonal by Cleworth. Fletcher and Farl go for the same ball. Farl flicks it on, and listen to that cheer as the final whistle blows. Reading full value for that. The first half was a pretty tame affair. Wrexham were a bit off their rhythm, quite frankly. But having said that, Reading didn't really create anything. The celebrations down there are crazy. Adam lifting Pereira up in the air, who's punching the air like they've just won a trophy. But yeah, Wrexham frustrated in the first half. Reading's energy and purpose was good, but they didn't create that much, and Wrexham on the break looked dangerous. The second half, though, Wrexham again started slowly. Reading were aggressive, won that penalty when Nibs just nipped in past O'Connell and took contact and went down in the box. The referee gave the penalty. Thought it was soft at first view, but I think the ref was quite right. As Mia said, very similar to the penalty O'Connell conceded that Shrewsbury's player just nips in ahead of him. Nibs took the penalty himself, drilled it in, sending Okonkwo the wrong way. Wrexham looked to be reeling after that. 5 minutes later, it was 2-0. Lovely move, Wing at the centre of it, ultimately receiving a ball on the edge of the box, shoving Wareham out the way and drilling it in the bottom right corner. Wrexham given a lifeline when Strickland was sent off. The Reading were furious, but the ref had no option. Strickland on a yellow was warned to hurry up because Reading's time wasting, as got to be said, wasn't subtle. And instead, he stepped up and left the ball for his goalkeeper, and the ref had no option but to send him off. Second yellow card. Wrexham piled it on then. But the truth of the matter is, despite Longman being excellent down the left and delivering some wonderful crosses when they worked Pereira, the goalkeeper was outstanding. As the Wrexham fans go across to applaud the players to applaud their fans, we can't complain about that outcome, can we?
No, the game was grabbed away from Wrexham in the first 15 minutes of the second half. Reading came out flying. They really went for Wrexham's back three. They really played on the front foot. They didn't overly play, and then they managed to get the penalty. Sort of just made O'Connell just go and feed in, dangle a leg a little bit, go for the ball, and just nicked it away from him. But then their second goal was fantastic. Just a brilliant piece of passage of play. 14-15 passes between them. Pass and follow, pass and move, and it ends up with a brilliant strike into the bottom corner. And then, like you said, we had a bit of a go in the last 15 minutes when they went down to 10 men. But Reading were resolute, and they thoroughly deserve the 3 points today. Opportunity missed.
Big opportunity missed, but it just sets up Saturday for another big opportunity to put it right. You know, obviously Wycombe haven't played tonight. Now I think that pressure goes on to us massively on Saturday now, that we've got to get that 3 points if we want to stay with Wycombe. Otherwise you suddenly find yourself back in that pack with your Stockports, etc. Possibly even Reading now. This win could really push them up the table and give them a lot of momentum as they just continue a brilliant run. And if they continue playing like they played tonight with, like we say, that energy, then they could be a real underdog going into for them playoff places. But totally agree. I just feel like it's a massive opportunity wasted tonight. We just never really looked at it. But we said it on Saturday, you know, with now we go into the last 10, there's going to be points dropped, there's going to be points gained. We've just got to take this on the chin now, move forward, be positive, and just try and pick up 3 points on Saturday.
Longman's intervention was good. The substitutes did breathe some life into Wrexham. Too little, too late in the end, though. Although Pereira, it's got to be said, made some great saves. Smith in particular was being constantly denied by him, but the keeper was acrobatic, spectacular, unorthodox, and very effective. Whereas Wrexham, until we got that storm of pressure up when Reading sat deep with the 10 men, just looked scratchy on the ball, didn't we? The weight of passes was wrong. Reading's press had a lot to do with that, but we just didn't impose ourselves until those latter stages when Reading had 10 men sitting on a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, and that's the worry, because obviously you think if they didn't go down to 10, would we still have put on the same pressure? I'm not too sure, given the way we were playing in that second half, but just again, it just feels like a missed chance, and you know, it was just really scrappy. I think that's the good word. You know, particularly in that first half, it just didn't look too sharp, looked a little bit leggy, which is a worry going into the end of the season. You want energy to really show like the Reading side did. But like I say, Wrexham just got to pick themselves up now and go again, get ready for what's going to be a real tough game on Saturday. Wycombe are going to be right up for it, knowing that could really, you know, send them on their way, really.
But we've bounced back well before, and we consistently do it, and we have done all season. We've got to do a big one, because they'll be disappointed in there, because there was a big opportunity just to put a bit of pressure on Wycombe behind us and the teams behind us. We just haven't taken it at all. Back to the drawing board, and we go again on Saturday.
Absolutely. So I've got to say, I don't think I've ever seen a player milk a celebration like the goalkeeper Pereira is. He's still on the pitch. That's remarkable. He's been doing all sorts. And I was going across to celebrate with the ball boys. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, big game now on Saturday, and we have just got to view it as an opportunity to put things right, haven't we, in all honesty? The final score from a frustrating Madejski Stadium, although the frustration is about Wrexham's failure to apply the quality we normally do for a big chunk of the game. Reading 2, Wrexham 0. We have been Mark Griffiths, Mia Roberts and Andy Morrell from Wrexham AFC.